Hello guys, this is Ashley or Miss Speaks. It has been a long time since I have done any kind of video that is related to books, and I don't know why, because I like to read all the time. I'm an English teacher, and so I love to encourage other people to read. So I've only done one video, and I will link that down below, where I kind of went through some books that I recently bought, some that I was recently reading at that time. And then I did a review for a book that I had also read. I will note that I do like to read a mixture of young adult fiction and young adult style writing and adult writing. So I'm gonna try, and for those of you, because I do have some students who watch, and then I think I have some older friends who watch this, so I'm gonna try to do my reviews split. So I will do some reviews over some books that are considered young adult, and then I'll do some reviews over books that are considered more actual adult, just that way so that you're a little bit prepared, because there are some books that have some sensitive topics and that explore more adult materials that I would love to share with everybody, but I want to make sure that you are aware of what you're going to read. And also, if you have parents that are worried about what you're going to read, I always try to preface that with my students as well. So you're not the only ones to get that kind of spill. Anyways, so the last video that I did, I will link below, like I said. Also, don't forget that I use goodreads.com. I use that a lot. I update my progress there. Not sponsored or anything. I just love that website. I was actually shown it by my AP literature teacher in high school, and I've used it since then. So thanks, Miss Butler. But anyways, so check out my Goodreads. Create your own account so you can create your items of books, your shelf, your own little shelf of books that you have read, books that you want to read, and you can even update your progress. So you can kind of watch other people, and you can also go to forums and stuff like that. So last thing that I want to point out before we get to the actual books, for Christmas at Barnes & Noble, this was like a book Christmas. At the time that I'm recording this, it is Christmas break, so it's the only time that I have time to do things, it seems like now, when I have breaks off school. So at Christmas time, I go to Barnes & Noble all the time anyways, but I saw this shirt that I'm wearing now, and I said, if it's still there after Christmas, it has to be mine, because it is so me. It is bad. So this is my shirt. It says, I have no shelf control. That is me to a T, because I will constantly buy books and they'll sit on my shelf for a little bit, and then I'll just get in this big spur of a moment, I want to read everything I have. And that's kind of what hit me the end of November and December. I had this big spur of just wanting to read everything I get my hands on. And so I actually read a bunch of the books that were listed in my last book video. So I'll do those reviews later. Right now, I just want to show you the books that I have either read recently, or that I have picked up to read, or just add to my collection. So this is just kind of like a book haul in a way. So I want to start off with the ones that I have read. Okay. Let's see. Some of these, two of these you guys saw in the other video if you watched that. I have a Monster Calls. I actually finished this recently. It was in that last book haul that I had. And Replica. This is the one that has the double story that overlaps. I will do reviews on these separately, but I finally finished them and I was very happy with both of them. This one made me cry a lot. This one left me with a lot of questions, and there's a second one, so I'll have to get the other one. So it's a duology, and this one just made me cry because it was so good. So anyways, yes, these are two that I've actually read. So Monster Calls by, let me see who it's by Patrick Ness, and then Replica by Lauren Oliver, who also wrote Before I Fall. The other ones that I have read recently, woohoo! Okay, that was not meant to happen. Like I said, this has been a while since I've filmed before, so I'm not aware of spacing of where stuff is, so I'm sorry. But anyways, the next three are ones that I have picked up recently and read. Let's see. Okay, Lemony Snicket's All the Wrong Questions. This is the first one, if it will focus on there. It's Who Could Be at This Hour. So I was obsessed, and I still am obsessed, with the Lemony Snicket, A Series of Unfortunate Events series. And I've read the whole series like 2 times, and then some other books multiple times. This is kind of a newer, not really new, but a newer series that he did about Lemony Snicket, his spy training. So I thought that was pretty neat. He has like this really quirky way of writing, and I love him for it, but it was kind of hard to follow. So I'll do a review of this one as well. But if you love Lemony Snicket and you love quirky, like uncanny type writing, this is a great book. Okay, next one that I read recently. This is more of an adult book that I'll do a review on. This is The Girl on the Train. This is actually kind of an older book. Not like older, like just a few years older. But there was a movie. I haven't watched the movie yet, so I'd like to read the book first. But this is The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. This was really good too. I usually figure things out pretty easily. And it took me a little bit because there was a lot of curveballs thrown, but eventually I figured it out along with the character, and there were some frustrations in this book. So I will do a review on this as well. So I read this one recently, The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. And the last, one more adult one that I've read also. Forgot about this one. The Woman in Cabin 10. This is by Ruth Ware. I've actually got a couple of Ruth Ware books that I'd like to read also, because this was so good. I don't know why I'm kind of obsessed with these like psychological thrillers recently, but just like The Girl on the Train, The Woman in Cabin 10. So Woman in Cabin 10 is a really good book that I loved as well. I will do a review on it later, but that is one that I have read recently. Oops, there goes something. Bookmark probably. Okay, and the last one that I have read recently, we have a kitty joining us. I don't know if you can see him. There's every boy. The last one that I've read recently is Divergent. Now, I know this was popular when I was in high school and when we first started college. And then there's a ton of movies, well, 3 movies because there's 3 books, but I have not read it yet. I don't like to be right on trend. I like to get things and then read them later, or get movies and watch them later, or TV shows or whatever. I'm always behind on the trend, but I like it that way. So I finally read Divergent because of one of my students. We did book talks around November for Thanksgiving time. We did book talks, and she did one over Divergent. And so I finally just said, you know what, I got to break down and read it. I read this in 2 days, like not full days because I had school. So just the time I had from after school to home, I literally stayed up to like 1 o'clock in the morning reading this. So very good book. I will review this later as well. So Divergent by Veronica Roth. I've read recently. Okay. Those are the read recently ones that I have. And then of course I have, no shelf control. And I bought some more books right after I finished like The Woman in Cabin 10. I went and bought like 3 books after I read that one. So anyways, the next ones are going to be some that I have started reading. So if you'll notice on my goodreads.com, if you check that out, or if you just listen here, I like to start multiple books. And then if one just finally like catches and I'm just like, I got to read the whole thing, then I'll read the whole thing. But usually I start multiple books, and then just whatever fits my needs, I will go back to it. So here's some that I've started recently. This one was featured in one of my recent books, the only other book haul that I've ever done, The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold. I've started it, but it's very sad. Being a teacher and just a young woman in general, it kind of deals with lots of, this is more of an adult one too. So this deals with a lot of, I don't know, the girl starts out in a certain way, and it's very sad to me. But anyways, this is kind of a sad book, and I'm going to finish reading this one. I'm only a few pages in, as you can tell, so we'll see how that goes. The next one that I'm kind of sort of reading, I kind of put it on the back burner because it wasn't super interesting at the time, but the concept sounds great. So sometimes a lot of books are really slow, and I try to tell my students and anybody else who reads, you know, it may start out slow, but just give it time. Like I do, I start different books, and then once I finally get to, I think I might try it again, you don't have to read it all in one sitting. You don't have to read it all in 1 week or 1 month. You can take some time off. Just remember that, like, my memory is kind of short, so I have to read it, you know, within a year or more. So this is the next book that I picked up. This is actually part of a trilogy, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but This is The 1,000th Floor, and who is this by? I forget. Katharine McGee, okay? Katharine McGee. This is very, it's not really like super in your face sci-fi, but it's very like utopian society about a skyscraper that has 1,000 floors, and the people who live in it. And it's basically about the teenagers and how they grow up in this society. But it sounds really interesting, but I really couldn't get into it yet. So anyways, I am reading that one. As you can see, I haven't gotten very far on that one either. So 1,000th Floor by Katharine McGee, reading that one. Okay, the next ones are some that I am planning on reading in the future, or that I just bought that I've read before, but I just didn't have physical copies. So the first ones of those are The Hunger Games. I haven't even taken it out of the plastic yet. The Hunger Games, actually, again, I was behind on the times. When the movies came out, I watched the movies first. And I usually never do that, but, well, I watched them as the movies came out. So I started reading the books after the first movie came out, and that was when I was in college. And I didn't have a lot of money, so I wasn't buying, like, physical books at that time. So I had my, Kindle. It was like Amazon Kindle, whatever it is, on my phone, and I read these through that. And it didn't take me long at all to read through these. I'm not really going to do a review on these unless I read them again, because it's been a while since I've read them. I want to make sure I get correct information, but I'm a weirdo and I have to have physical copies of things. So even though I've read these, I have to have a physical copy just because that's the way I am. And I will read them again eventually and do another review on these as well. So, The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins, the trilogy of this one. Okay, that includes Hunger Games, just knocked them all over, Catching Fire, and Mockingjay. Okay, next ones I'm going to read are also part of a trilogy for Divergent. So my husband bought me not the new, oh my goodness, they're not new, they're new to me. My husband bought me the rest of the books in the trilogy, even though there's like a 4th companion book that I want to get as well. But this is the 2nd book in the Divergent series called Insurgent, and then this is the 3rd one called Allegiant. So I really need to watch the movie. Like, I want to watch the movie after I read it, so I'm trying to get a hold of Divergent, then I'll read Insurgent, and then I'll watch Insurgent, and then you know how that goes. So anyways, I'm looking forward to reading these as well. They're probably going to be like one-day things since I'm on Christmas break. And I've had like great restraint on not reading them all at one time. So anyways, Insurgent and Allegiant that I'm going to read, Veronica Roth. And next, kind of a different type book. This is The Lost Causes of Bleak Creek. This is by the wonderful people at Good Mythical Morning on YouTube. So if you don't know them, please go check out their channel. I love Rhett and Link so much. My husband and I watch them all the time. They're like great entertainment. They remind me of my brother and myself. Like, I would be Link and my brother would be Rhett. But anyways, so we love Good Mythical Morning and Rhett and Link, and they decided to write their own fictional story. This kind of set where they lived in North Carolina. And it's supposed to be kind of fiction, very similar to, like, somebody says it's similar to Stranger Things. I don't know about that, but we shall see. So anyway, The Lost Causes of Bleak Creek, I'm interested in reading. Hopefully they can keep my attention like they do on YouTube, so I'm sure they could. So, interesting. And the last one is one that I've read probably 4 or 5 times, but it's just a different version. So if you notice, I have all of my Harry Potter books over here that I've collected as I grew up, the people gave me. So those are the special, like, just paperback. There's a couple hardbacks, or 3 hardbacks there. And then on this side, I've started collecting the illustrated versions, because one day when I have children, I would love to read to them. And I just love illustrations and drawings anyways, because I love to picture things in my head. And so when I read it and I see the illustration, it brings new life to the series, if that makes any sense. So a lot of people are like, why would you buy multiple of the series? It just brings and breathes new life into it so that you can kind of see it in a different way. So anyways, I have 1, 2, and 3. So Sorcerer's Stone, Chamber of Secrets, and Prisoner of Azkaban. And recently, Goblet of Fire came out. And of course, my husband had to get it for me for Christmas because I love it. I'm so excited to flip through this one and just look at all the illustrations. I'll probably end up reading them anyways, just so I can look at the pictures. But I'm so excited for this because I love the Triwizard Tournament. And so I think that'd be really neat to see in illustrations, plus the dragons and all the creatures. Ugh, love it. So this is my other book. I'm going to go ahead and put it on my shelf now. If I can squeeze it in there. Excuse me, Prince. That's Prince, my pygmy puff. Okay, so those are all the books that I've gotten recently. That I'm planning to read, that I'm already reading, or I have read. So just remember, I'm going to do reviews on the ones that I've read. I won't go into a lot of detail because I don't like to give away endings, so I won't do any spoilers. So if you want to, if you're interested, if you want to see, if you're interested in those reviews, then just stay tuned. Like I said, I'll do a kind of like a young adult version, and then more of the adult book version. So just keep a lookout for that. Check me out on Goodreads. Check out Good Mythical Morning. And hopefully I will see you guys next time. And I have no shelf control, so there may be more videos in the future of more books that I receive. Because I'm just crazy like that. So thank you for watching. I will see you next time. Bye.